everybody, and welcome to episode 115 of the Liberator podcast. I'm James Silberman, T. Russell Hunter, and Sam Riley. And today we're going to be talking about something that we have begun doing as an organization in the last 3-4 months or so that has gained us the wide acclaim of the interwebs.
Famous. I'm famous now. I don't know if you noticed, but I'm like
And you're beloved, Russell.
I get people.
Everyone loves you.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about that.
Not everyone.
But what we're talking about is TikTok.
Mm-hmm.
Free the States has gone on TikTok to, I guess whenever it first was proposed, it's kind of like, do we really want to be on TikTok?
Yeah.
And then like a month or two later, we're like, man, good thing we got on TikTok. It was like one of these things where like, yeah, Sam wants to put us on TikTok. Whatever. We'll see how that goes. Probably not going to work.
Mm.
And then he he's putting up clips for months and months and months and then says, hey, by the way, we've got millions of views on TikToks.
Mm-hmm.
Then I start paying attention.
Yeah.
So good job, Sam. Sam put us on TikTok. And
Well, actually, originally Rachel put us on TikTok months ago, and we had just one video up there. And I think it only had like 100 views or something like that. And then we went out and we did outreach, and I filmed the whole thing. And I made a bunch of clips from that outreach, and it was kind of a crazy one. And we put it all up. And I think I told you when we were filming, I was like, that lady's going to be very viral.
yeah, that lady is going to make us famous.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something to the internet loves an unhinged
person with their zipper down.
Leftist with their pants falling off. Nothing goes quite viral like that. So yeah, but no, we got on TikTok. We've been on TikTok how long? 4 months.
4 months.
Almost 4 months, yep.
Almost 4 months.
Almost to the day.
Is that from Rachel's first video or from our first?
From the first time we really started posting out. Well, the first outreach post that we ever did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
or activism post.
Yeah.
And so in this episode, we're going to talk about kind of why we're on TikTok, kind of how it's gone for us so far, which is, spoiler alert, very, very well. Yeah. Why it has gone so well. And then we'll actually play some clips for you guys and respond to the clips, talk about the response. Because what we do, and some of you guys who have seen this will already know this, but I think we probably have some viewers over here who aren't on TikTok and a lot of TikTok viewers who aren't on our YouTube.
Hopefully we have lots of viewers that aren't on TikTok. but we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
So,
and we can get you on TikTok.
Yeah. Yes, we're hoping to connect both to each other. It would be great if all of our YouTube people went over to TikTok, and then if TikTok people came to YouTube, because we have like 100,000 followers or something on TikTok. So that'd be nice to get on YouTube. But in any case, we're going to talk about some of these interactions that mostly Russell has out in the streets during the Norman Art Walk at University of Oklahoma's campus, and just respond to the responses of these sometimes reasonable, but sometimes just outrageously ridiculous abortion supporters. And so let's first talk about why we're on TikTok. What's the point of having an account? What's the point of going out there with a camera and signs and doing what we do? So Sam, why do we do what we do when it comes to this?
Well, the obvious answer is to antagonize people.
Yeah, that's what that one lady said on TikTok.
That's what they think.
Yeah.
No, we're on there because everything belongs to Christ, including TikTok, and we're going to keep pushing wherever that is, whether that's YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, wherever. Yeah. And there's a lot of opportunity on TikTok right now. It's what YouTube and Facebook used to be when they first started, but TikTok is that right now.
I don't know if it can be said, but it's one of the more popular social media platforms, if not the most popular social media platform. So for people who say, hey, we want to engage the culture with the truth, we want to spread abolitionism, we want to share the gospel with people, to follow that with, we don't want to go where there are a lot of people who are engaging and talking is pretty crazy. And I think, man, our culture, where's our culture's Areopagus?
Yeah.
Oh man, it's TikTok.
Yeah.
It's not just TikTok, but go to the places where people are just like posting and talking and conversing with each other all over the planet. Now, if you don't want to go to those places, check yourself and why. There may be reasons, but for us, we see it as an opportunity, obviously, to bring light into darkness.
So exposing evil, exposing fruitless deeds of darkness and not participating in them, but exposing them is a big part of what we do in lots of different ways. And so when we go to OU or when we go to Art Walk, that's what we're doing. We are exposing the evil of abortion with the material that we're passing out, with the signs that we're holding, with the conversations that we have. And so we're doing that.
Yeah.
and then we amplify it, right? So Sam goes out there with the camera, he records Russell, usually Russell, sometimes others, interacting, and it's amplified. And we'll get to some of the statistics in a little bit here, but it is like majorly amplified. So the message, what we're doing, going out and having conversations is a really good thing. Like everyone should be willing to do this to whatever degree you're able. If it's just, if you don't have a lot of time, if it's just at the grocery store, engaging people, at your job, at home, wherever it is, wherever you're able, engage people. But if you're able to engage people while also getting content that will go before millions of more people, you've got to take that opportunity.
Yeah, going out is good in and of itself.
Right.
But in our culture, the way everything's filmed and everything's put on social media, like going out and not filming is kind of criminal. It's just kind of dumb. You're going to go out and you have good conversations. Now you shouldn't, when you go out, just be thinking about the video. Mm-hmm. You should be thinking about that person you're talking to. Those
probably
people
goes
that
better
you're
when we're not thinking about the video.
Yeah, if you can kind of like just get that out of your mind when you're talking to people, it will go better.
Yeah, you were like censoring yourself more when I came up and I was live streaming you that one time. You're like
censoring myself.
You're like, I didn't say as many jokes that time because you were filming me and I didn't want it to go up online.
yeah. Hey,
like, I'm always filming you, Russell.
yeah. Y'all don't realize that Sam just follows me around all the time. We've got lots of TikToks coming of just me like eating cereal and stuff. But anyway, the point that I wanted to make was that there's the sort of like not doubling up. It's, I don't know what the proper numbering up would be, like how much you're multiplying your message. You're going to talk to on a Friday night at Art Walk, you may talk to, I don't know,
20 people,
20 to 50 people or something over a 3-hour period. Mm-hmm. But millions of people are going to watch you talk to those people. So you do have to have in your mind some consideration of, okay, how can I use this thing that I'm trying to get this person to understand to be seen by hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people, get them thinking, and it will infuse the culture with a lot of truth that way. You just can't meet 1 million people on a Friday night at Art Walk, but you can if you film it and post it. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So good job, Sam, in doing that.
Thanks.
I think we had just decided that we were going to start going out and doing street work. We basically sometime over the summer, we said we need to do that more. It needs to be something that our organization does more. And then if we're going to do it, let's film it. And if we're going to film it, let's put it out. But it just kind of like happened that Sam was naturally talented in finding, minute long. And for those that know me, even this very example of what I'm doing now, get me to be able to say something in a minute.
It's hard to do.
It's a particular skill that he has. So it has been successful.
Yeah. And so there's a couple of different things we want to be successful with in doing this. And one of those, of course, is to get people to hear our particular message. We want people to hear Russell and Sam and others engaging in the streets. We want people to get on TikTok to then get connected to our YouTube and the Liberator podcast and learn about abolitionism. We want all those things, but we also want to kind of set an example for others to follow. If you're not already doing this sort of thing, we want abolitionists all over the country, all over the world to be doing what we're doing. And so part of this is to kind of model that. And so there's the interactions in short form on TikTok, or you can go on our YouTube channel and watch the entire, half hour, hour-long videos that Sam has put up of Russell's interactions and just see how to engage people, see how you respond to different pro-abortion arguments, how you respond to people who are being, more or less extremely emotional, and all those sorts of things. Yes, we want to do this for our own platform and our, the growth of our own social media stuff, but we also want to encourage others to do the same thing. What's that quote? I don't know if Spurgeon, I always forget who is by or exactly how it goes, but something like, when one person is courageous, the spines of cowards are stiffened, or something along those lines. Like when people see someone taking a bold stand and going out and saying abortion's murder, there's forgiveness found in Christ and all this stuff, people will...
Oh, I could do that too.
And we saw that on campus. Like the second time we came back to campus, we had so many more people that were coming up to you and they were like giving you fist bumps and like saying, oh yeah, I've seen your stuff on TikTok, really like that. And a lot more people were like willing to even say, I appreciate what you're doing. Yeah.
And sometimes stand there and argue with the students at the same time. But what has been encouraging to me is that you maybe they were already on TikTok and I just hadn't seen them because my own TikTok channel, I don't know how it works, but I watch our videos. But I have been noticing that on my For You page, I'm seeing a lot more like street evangelist, abortion related stuff. Maybe it was already there and I'm just getting it, but I'm seeing some things, I'm like, hey, that person on that street just did that thing. And that's my line.
Yeah.
Like, hey, bro's using my line. It may just be out there in the air traveling mimetically, and he's not actually using my line.
When something gets 9.4 million views, it's going to become a thing in the culture.
Yeah, it's like great. Now every middle-aged white man's going to be claiming they're an African American lesbian Jew.
We need to put it on a shirt for real.
It's just like a picture of me. But no, it's been great. I have seen more people get on it, and I have gotten a lot of encouraging messages in different platforms, and there is a theme to all of them that's kind of along those lines. Like, hey, you know what? It's just good to see kind of a fearless, tell the truth sort of style. Makes me kind of want to be that way too. And I'm like, oh, good. And of course, I'm just like, I didn't know my style was different than any of the others, but apparently my style is different from what they've seen, because I get a lot of those messages too. Like, I watch a lot of people do this. You're doing it a little bit different. And so to connect to the point, I'm like, well, yeah. What's that phrase, influencer, or that title, influencer? Yeah. This is not me claiming to be an influencer. But if I could be influential in one thing, it would be getting other Christians to go be boldly Christian in public without fear or concern about what it might, do to them. So it's good to see that lots of people are picking up on that.
Yeah. So Sam, why don't you talk a little bit about kind of just how successful that this thing has been so far?
Yeah. So
give us the stats.
Yeah. So like we said, we've been on there for about 4 months now, and since we got on, we've had 35.5 million views in total.
In 4 months. That's almost 10 million views a month. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. 3 million likes, and we're coming up on almost 100,000 followers in less than 4 months. And if you compare us to any of the sort of similar channels, no one does it that quickly. So it's been pretty crazy. Like similar channels. If you look at the pro-life channels, they don't go that quick.
Yeah.
And we've already passed a lot of those pro-life channels.
I mean, almost all of them.
Yeah, almost all of them. There's a couple that we are still trying to pass. we're gonna pass the Daily Wire eventually. That's 5 million. So very ambitious. We'll see.
Wait. So we have 3 million in 4 months, and the Daily Wire has
3 million likes.
Yeah. So where's the Daily Wire? Where's our path? How do we pass them?
In followers, we're at 100,000, and they're at 5 mil.
5 million or something like that. They've been on for a long time, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So
it's gonna be a while.
It's gonna be a while.
All
right.
Unless we
Edit that.
our trajectory just goes crazy, and that could happen. We just we'll see.
But the moral of the story is we've grown very quickly.
Yeah.
And for other groups that do what we do, somehow we've just surpassed them all very quickly.
Right. And so let's talk a little bit about why that is. Let's talk about why Russell Hunter is a hero.
It's guys, I'm telling you, it's just because I'm so likable.
Yeah.
Let's talk about why Russell Hunter is allergic to L's. What are some of the things people have said about Russell in the comments?
Well, allergic to L's is one of them.
Allergic to L's.
I wonder if that was somebody that we know pretty well. Like that was maybe the Sims or something got on there and made a fake account and like, RS is allergic to L's.
Yeah, I was like, anytime I see anything that is that flattering, I think that's just one of my friends under a pseudonym saying something.
Well, no, because abolitionists, I don't know if there are many. I see like Jacob Ross Miller, I think, is on there, and Jesus Archuleta, but like there's not many abolitionists on TikTok. And so I think, and you have to be really like to know the TikTok language, like allergic to L's and like. Yeah,
there's a certain amount of searching, like I have like a Google thing open on the side, like, what the heck does this mean?
W man's W life.
Just like, what? I don't understand these. Are these compliments or what?
Yeah.
But there are a number of people on there who, and this isn't a humble brag. Well, this is just a factual statement. There are a number of people on there who don't know about abolitionism, don't know about us, watch the videos and they like me. And they'll like say stuff like that. And to me, I'm not thinking I'm actually a very unlikable person. I like look at it and I'm like, there's a guy on a street corner holding an abortion is murder sign. And there are thousands of people that are like, you go, boy. And I'm like, what is this? This is not how this is. That's not who I don't usually think. You know who our culture really likes? It's the street evangelist with the signs.
The middle-aged white guy.
The middle-aged white guy with the uncombed hair.
And the abortion
who looks like
sign.
he can't swim.
Yeah. There was a comment on there that said I couldn't swim. I was like, I'm not the strongest swimmer. How do they know? TikTok. Amazing community there.
It's because everyone knows who you are. It must be true, Russell, because people know, because there's that one video of you in the streets and just person after person walking by.
I know. F you,
Russell.
It's like driving by. F you, and I'm just like, wow, this is. Do we put my name on these things?
Our TikTok dancer knows your name too. He was like, he said, "Oh, we'll see when Hunter leaves."
Yeah,
that's funny.
TikTok dancer being this guy at OU who always comes out and he's purportedly a transgender witch, and he puts hexes on you and stuff.
Yeah,
he does weird dances.
On many of our TikTok videos, he's known as our biggest fan. Like, there's a lot of people like, man, that guy has a crush on you, and I'm like, come on, that's not very nice. But they're like, man, he's there all the time. He loves y'all and all this. Does he have classes? There's a lot. It's weird. People don't just see a TikTok; they seem just to watch multiple TikToks and follow who's out there with us. But
yeah. Oh yeah, you'll see the same person like going through every single one of our videos, like.
Oh, you can see that on the back end.
Yeah, you'll watch the back end. You'll see new notifications, and someone's just going and liking and watching every single one of them.
Wow.
So yeah.
And all those communists in China are like, we've got all this good information about who likes TikTok.
Who likes their TikTok.
Yeah. So let's talk about why that is. Let's talk about why people are responding positively to the TikToks that we are putting out there. So we talked about this in our last episode, kind of more in the political sense of how the pro-lifers in the political sphere operate very much on we're trying to appeal to the culture, appeal to consensus, wherever we can find the point at which a majority will support that bill. If we can find a poll that says the majority support a ban at 18 weeks, then we'll do 18 weeks. If the majority supports a ban here, that's where they just go to the culture, try to be moderate, try to be, quote unquote reasonable or whatever.
Find common ground.
Most
important thing for them.
Right, and appealing to the culture. Whereas that is not, of course, those who know this podcast, who know Russell, who know all of us, that's not how we operate. It's very straight to the point, not mealy-mouthed. This is murder. You know it.
Yeah.
You need to feel the weight of how evil your position is and feel bad unto repentance and unto a conversion to the abolitionist position that this is murder and that it must be abolished.
It's because we already know we have common ground. We all lived in the same world. And we're not going to pretend like all the things that they say they believe to support their unrighteousness are actually true. So it's sort of like an anti-pandering position.
Yeah.
Biblically speaking, the pro-life movement and groups like that, they practice cunning. They're like thinking, how do I approach and talk to these people in these ways that are going to be the most worldly wise and effective and all this kind of stuff. Not our approach. Our approach is, how do we go talk to people and tell them the truth that is truth that they need to hear? And surprisingly, that has actually done well. I think a lot of people see the videos and they're like, go figure. You can just stand out there and say that abortion's murder and that Christ forgives murderers, and you can just say it. And so I think a lot of even people who are not engaged in I've seen comments, people aren't necessarily engaged in the abortion conversation, but they're just kind of like, wow, okay, straightforward, just facts. I'm like, oh yeah, just facts. So I think, the not mealy-mouthed, just the general abolitionist perspective and approach has, I think, become popular there on that platform because it probably looks different. I think usually if they you're going through TikTok and you fall on some pro-life page, you're like, okay, it's some pro-life lady telling me that abortion's bad because it hurts women, or abortion's, dangerous or whatever.
It's bad for the environment.
Yeah.
It's a tool of the patriarchy. It's all these things, trying to tickle the ears of the culture, trying to appeal to the culture where they are not speaking the truth that will change people, that will change the culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because there have been people who've said, like, I don't agree. I'm, like, not on the same side as this person, but I'm glad he's not, like, lying. You know, they're like, I appreciate the fact that he's being straightforward.
Yeah. Oh, one of the comments that I liked recently that was really, really good. They're like, I'm pro-choice, but she just made us all look like idiots.
Yeah.
I was like,
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
There's like a collective embarrassment of the pro-choicers that get on the videos. They're like, they'll say things like, you're only putting up videos or evidence of the dumb pro-choicers.
Yeah.
And we're like, no, we're just putting up evidence of all the pro-choicers.
Well, what other pro-choices are there?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the people who are literally arguing that it's okay to murder a human while they're holding a human rights sign, we're just putting them up. But they all think to themselves, if I were there out on the street debating, I would do a better job. And actually, we've seen some of them. Like, some people have, like, come out who say in the middle of talking, like, I've seen you on TikTok, and, like, it seems like you only put up videos of dumb people. And of course, you know, we're going to put up videos of them. So it's kind of one of those situations. They don't realize that there are no good arguments for their position, but their position is the reigning cultural accepted, approved position. And the only reason it is because no one really challenges it.
No one attacks it head on, right?
Yeah.
They're all appealing to the culture, appealing to being moderate. Again, those same things. But as we'll see here in this first video, we're going to play a number of videos here and kind of dissect what makes each of them unique. But yeah, we're not trying to appeal to people where they are. We're not trying to appeal to where the culture is. We're trying to speak the truth plainly in a way that the person understands the entire truth about abortion, and the weight of that falls on their conscience. And that's the important thing.
Yeah.
So let's watch one of these videos where Russell will be interacting with someone, making a very, very silly, of course, but of course very evil argument in favor of abortion, and they're made to understand how evil they're being.
Just keep in mind that the more people that are born, that leads to more individuals being in poverty, more individuals being born.
But your disposition to always want to murder poor people is sickening.
It's not that.
You're saying if we let people live, let's not help them, let's murder them before they're born. That's what you keep saying over and over and over again.
Yeah, so that is something that we actually hear a lot. And, like, that is the way you should respond to that. Whenever people constantly tell you, well, but there are so many poor people on our planet, or like there's kids out there that aren't being helped or whatever, you're kind of like, you think it'd be better if we just murdered them all? And I think that the person in that video, she was saying it over and over and over again. And once I said that, she did stop saying it.
Yeah.
But I think hopefully she'll just stop saying it in general.
Yeah.
And if more and more Christians would respond that way, we'd have less and less people arguing it.
Yeah. Well, you also just assume the basic fact that they are a human being, they're a person, and you are arguing that they should just be killed because they're poor. You know, like a pro-lifer would go, okay, well, no, you know, we need to debate whether or not they're people or not, or whether they're a person or not. And they kind of just give that ground to them in order to have the debate, instead of just saying, no, you're saying we should murder poor people.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, it's very straightforward and like just to the point. That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
Act like that's what they're doing. And if they say, no, they're not people, then you can go, well, yes, they are. And you know they are. They're made in the image of God, just like you. And the only reason you think that other people deserve to live is because you're made in the image of God and they're made in the image of God, and you're just being inconsistent.
Yeah. But like Russell talked about earlier, we shouldn't see that ground from the get-go. Like if they want to argue that the unborn child is not right or at all, but if they want to argue that the unborn child isn't a person, then okay, then let's actually go through this and show them how they're being really stupid if they're going to say that life doesn't begin at fertilization. Yeah. But the assumption is this is a person. They probably graduated at least 6th grade. Like, they know when life begins. They know it's a person. Ultimately, that debate isn't needed. Yeah. If they want to pretend like they're an idiot and they don't know when life begins, okay, then let's go through it. But I'm going to assume and talk as if there is already the existing common ground. You know when life begins. You know this is murder. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that is the common ground.
Yeah, and they are actually making their argument. They are saying abortion is justified because these people could end up poor. Like they're not talking about when humans become valuable or where they come from or anything like that.
Yeah.
None of that. They literally are just wearing on their sleeves, it's better to murder people than for people to be poor. And so repeat the argument back to them. And generally when they hear their own argument, they're going to do like what she said. No, that's not what I said. You're like, no, it is what you say. That's what all of you say. Like there's another video I don't think we're going to show, but it's like two girls that are volunteers or they work for like a foster care thing.
They're terrible.
And they're basically just they work in foster care, helping children in terrible situations. And they're saying, you guys that want to stop abortion are bad because if you stop abortion, there's going to be more of these kids that we have to help. And you're like, do you realize how evil you are? Like, why not just kill all these kids if you think they were better off dead?
Problem solved.
And then, of course, they're like, no, that's wrong. It's like, okay.
Yeah.
See, you understand. We're on the same page.
Well, I also don't think they realize is like that's the assumption that someday they'll be in the foster care system if they live, but they don't want to kill the kids that are currently in foster care.
Yeah.
So it's like,
which they actually know are in foster care.
I know. It's like a way more effective way of doing that would be let's kill the kids in foster care and let's not kill the kids we don't know are in foster care yet.
Yeah.
But they don't want to say that.
Yeah.
Because
They can, yeah. Well, I mean, you're going to get our video blocked. They're going to be like, they said kill the kids in foster care. But, but no, that is true. Like it's the same logic whenever someone's like, I have to have this abortion because I can't afford a fourth child. And you're like, well, trust me, how old's your oldest? And they're like, my oldest is 12. And it's like, your 12-year-old's more expensive than your 6-week-old. Kill the 12-year-old. If your argument truly is because I can't afford. But see,
right.
So you gotta, I think it's a good thing to always repeat back to people the evil things that they are saying without really thinking about it.
Another example I remember from the news probably about a year ago, but I think it was Iceland had eradicated Down syndrome in like the entire country. There was like there was like 2 cases of it in the whole country, and then like you reach the end of the article and they're like, because of their their excellent practices of diagnosing Down syndrome in the womb and then having abortions, or the doctors are pushing abortions really hard on those parents or whatever.
Yeah.
Because they've eradicated Down syndrome. It's like, okay, if that's how we're gonna fix all the world's problems, then yeah, just go ahead and just off all the poor people, off all the criminals, all the people you don't want. Just go ahead and kill them. Problem solved.
Yeah, and they say that that's not what they're into, but it is what they're into. I mean, it really is. Like these are folks that are just like a hair's breadth away from just genociding groups of people that they don't like.
Well, they're not. They're not. They are there.
Oh yeah, they're already there. Yeah, they're already there with the unborn. But if it's kind of like it's legal to kill preborn human beings, but if it were legal to kill like evangelicals, there'd be a lot of people wouldn't bat an eye.
And actually, this is a video we had later on down the noise playing, but later on down the video. But let's actually play this one here because I think it fits right in with what we're talking about. So we're gonna play a video of a woman at the University of Oklahoma who is arguing against Russell, saying that, well, we'll just play the video and you guys can see what she's saying.
Wait.
I know, but they
Can
don't
you be a
keep it.
patient if you don't like sign in?
Yes. Yes, you can be a patient if you don't sign in. Do you think that we should only help people who can sign in?
No, I mean that's not what I
That's
said.
that's
I was
hardcore.
Just,
That's
I was
cold.
Just
That's cold.
I guess a question, because it's like
It's mean to all those people who
are
can't
they-
sign in.
How do you say?
Little children do need our help, and I'm okay with
Well, yeah.
saying that we ought to
Adults
require it
usually
from
try to help
adults.
them out.
Yep. I mean, 2-year-olds can't sign in.
Yeah.
You find a 2-year-old
They
on
usually
your
have
front
a-
porch and they need your help.
Yeah.
I would help
Right.
them. I wouldn't stomp on them.
So here we have a college student. This is a highly educated young woman being
A senior.
a senior in college. Do we know what her major was?
No idea.
All right, a senior at the University of Oklahoma. The University of Oklahoma.
We're talking about the one that was wearing like the glasses, the sunglasses, and the mask, right?
Blocking the camera.
Yeah, and she started by blocking the camera, and talking to you, and she talked about how she's seen our TikToks. She's one of those that's like, I've seen your TikToks, and then she makes her way over to me, and it's just like she's the most disingenuous person. It's just like, red herrings and just silly stuff after silly thing. But then in this particular video,
So were you saying this is one of the people who said, I've seen your TikToks and you only play the dumb people?
yeah, she's definitely, she thinks that she's one of these that thinks that we put up videos
We antagonize.
of us antagonizing college kids on TikTok.
Yeah.
And then she literally comes over, and I'm talking to like 2 or 3 students that are actually like engaging, like one who's like a supporter, one who's not, but she's really she was really talking, and we're having like a good conversation. And this young lady comes up and stands there and starts doing this sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even think you've put up every video of her.
No.
Maybe that you will.
No.
But
Yeah. So here we have an argument where she thinks she's trying to come up with something to justify abortion. And her argument to justify the killing of the child in the womb justifies the killing of every newborn, of every, like you said, up to 2-year-old, the killing of every elderly person who's not able to put their signature, the killing of every disabled person, right? It's the blatant bigotry and ageism inherent in every pro-choice argument, but so especially here. Like, she had to go away from this
they
knowing
can't even
how bigoted she
sign
is.
in. And you're
She
just
thought
like,
that was so smart. She
I know.
thought she was brilliant.
Yeah, well, is she also the one that says the whole, like, are they on the census? Do you have to
Yeah.
put them on the census?
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, if somebody isn't on a census, they're not human. If somebody can't sign in, they're
not
not
a
human.
patient.
And you're kind of like, wait a second. Like immigrants, like, coming across the border that can't speak the language, that are, like, in need, like, screw them. Is that your position? And, of course, that's not her position. You know, she's total hypocrite on it. But yeah, she is trying to be very clever, and in the process, basically throws tons of humans. They're always doing that. They're always, all of their arguments. Usually, all you have to do is, like, you know, I hate to use Scott Klusendorf's thing, but like the whole trot out the toddler thing. It's like usually whatever they're saying, you're just like, does that work for a newborn?
Yeah.
Of course it doesn't.
Yeah.
You know, so
Yeah. And so again, just the absolute ridiculousness. And again, I hope this emboldens you guys to go out there, because this is a university. This is the smart people, and here are the arguments that you will be going up against. And so please watch all the videos.
yeah. No, if you are one of these folks that thinks, I really can't go out and engage people in the street about abortion because I don't have all my arguments down, or I don't like feel like I'm really ready for all the objections. Here's your problem. You don't realize that nobody on the other side actually has any good arguments. Yeah. Even the prepared ones. Like, if you watch, like, you know, whenever like people come up and they are like, they're in their master's programs, they're going to say the same dumb things that the high schooler says. Because when you're trying to justify the mass murder of preborn babies in the womb, you have to say dumb things, because there are no smart things to say on behalf of that. Or you have to bite the bullet and just say selfish things, because that's really all it is. That's, you know, are you worried that you're going to go out on the streets and talk to people and they're going to bring up some big philosophical thing? No, it's going to be very quickly, they're going to be arguing, we have to have abortion around because I just didn't want to have a baby at that point. That's all that's all it is. I mean, I hate to dumb it down. You're going to hear some stuff, but that at base, it really is.
Yep.
I want to be able to be on the throne of my life to the point of crushing the most innocent person on the planet, who is also my progeny.
Yeah. Well, they want the sexual without the reproduction. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's our most recent one, right? Our most recent video.
Yeah.
Like, people are just like, you should
Don't
be able.
engage in sexual reproduction.
Yeah. And the comments on that one are pretty infuriating, because people they just think it's absurd that I would suggest that, you know, one of these ways that you can really make sure you don't have kids is.
Yeah. Well, there's some good
have
evidence
sex.
of total depravity in that one. It's like, no, we are incapable of not having sex.
Yeah. Like, sometimes when you're talking to young people and you do say something like, yeah, just don't have sex, they do look at you like you're like,
What are you talking about?
it's like, well, get married and have sex a lot in marriage and raise the kids that you conceive at, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's basic. It's a very basic thing out there.
Yeah, and one point I did want to make, you talked about those who will just kind of bite the pro-abortion bullet completely. And like the more intelligent, the more well thought out their pro-abortion position is, the more they'll just bite the bullet. So like the kind of all the way example on that is a guy named David Booner, who's kind of one of the primary pro-abortion ethicist philosopher guys. And his argument is that he completely bites the bullet, and he says, yes, you can murder a child in the womb, and you can actually murder a child even outside the womb up to, I don't know what his cutoff. I think his cutoff is like a year or 2 years old or something, because a pig or a dog or a horse has more cognitive ability than a newborn, than a 1-year-old. And so you really can just, I believe, or David Boonen saying, I believe it's morally permissible to murder a child up until 1 year. I forget exactly where it's cut off. Yeah. But it's okay to murder a born child as well. And that is the only logical conclusion. So the more, and he's honest.
Well, that's not a logical conclusion, but yeah.
It's a logical
it's a consistent conclusion from his premise, which is abortion is permissible.
Because he actually values being intelligent more than he values being ethical.
Which makes him not valuable.
He's still made in the image of God. He's just very messed up. Yeah. But no, I mean, that's like a guy who like decided he was going to argue for the abortion side, but that he was going to be truthful and intelligent. And so then he finds himself going, oh, yeah. But see, the problem is I don't think he's gone far enough. Like,
and no human life has value.
No human life has like you
would be the consistent,
which is what I think.
Well, and it puts it all on a spectrum too. I mean, he's an idiot compared to some people. Does that mean they have more of a right to life than he does? Like, how do values actually work at that point when you've put the value that gives us rights on a spectrum?
Yeah. Yeah. And it really is just like, matter bumping into matter that decided that at a certain point, matter should have rights. Yeah. Well, then that person who's making that point doesn't have a point. So the whole thing is it just all undermines itself.
Right.
But this is a guy who does value sort of being consistent over being sort of like looking morally upright. Mm-hmm. But you do run into that person on the street. Like they don't have to be philosophers. Like you talk to them, they put forward argument after argument after argument that they think are going to sort of be clever and get around it. And they can't really answer any of your objections. So they just say things like, murder babies. And they walk away. Yeah. I'll just be like, F all babies. And you're just like, okay, there it is. Yeah. That's their actual point.
And so
that's where we want to get people.
The thing here that I want to be encouraging to all you is that there's two sides of the pro-abortion argumentation. And that's those that are less honest and not as blatantly evil, and you have to point out the contradictions and how they're not being consistent and then call them to repentance. And then there's like the really kind of the more intelligent ones who have a thought out pro-abortion position. And then for them, it's like you said, there it is. You're being evil, and you know it. Like David Boonen, he knows it's evil. Like deep down, he knows that the murder of a 1-year-old is a despicable, evil act. Yeah. Deep down somewhere, he knows that. And so when people just completely bite the pro-abortion argument's bullet and admit the logical conclusions, you can just tell them, look, you know how evil that is. So somewhere deep down, I know it. You're a human. You're made in the image of God. I know that somewhere within you, there is some semblance of a conscience that knows how wicked that is. Repent and put your faith in Christ, and then go through that. Yeah. And so that it's either idiotic and evil on one end. It's always evil and idiotic, but sometimes it'll be more obviously one, and sometimes it'll be more obviously the other. And it's just dealing with those two things simultaneously.
I'm going to capture that. I'm going to put that on a meme. Yeah. It's either idiotic and evil, or evil and idiotic. It's either both. Probably both.
Yeah. And both of them
very poetic.
Both of them get treated as idiotic too. It's like at the end of the day, it's like they know human beings are made in the image of God. Peter Singer, David Boonen, and all these guys. Yeah. They're all made foolish by their sin at the end of the day.
And they are suppressing the truth in unrighteousness to justify evil, wicked things that they've done themselves.
Yep. Sin makes you stupid. So as we're talking here about college students, the educated who think they're really smart, let's go to our most popular video. This one has 9.4 million views. This video has been viewed 9.4 million times. This video is the biggest reason why Russell is recognized all around the city of Norman and probably elsewhere. You'll probably notice it if you go other places.
Russell's never been out of Norman, so that's the
I just stay within like a 4-mile square.
Yeah.
So this is I'll just play. I won't describe it. Let's just watch this here.
Go ahead.
You were speaking all all with theoreticals. You're saying like, oh, if someone is raped, they should be able to like, blah blah blah. The reality
Punish
is,
the rapist.
Yeah, that doesn't fucking happen.
It
The
should.
rapist rarely gets punished.
Oh, I know.
You're not
Rapists
standing
love
here-
abortion. It
you're
gets them
not
off the hook.
standing here condemning that. Instead,
No,
you're
yeah, I am.
condemning the victim.
Just in case you're curious,
You are
we condemn
victim.
rape. No.
Where?
Someone rapes a person,
Where?
right?
Where?
What?
Where are you condemning rape? Where?
Women are not sex objects. Babies are not body parts. You can't do whatever you want to a woman, and you can't do whatever you want to a baby. It's consistency. We've all been there. That's true. You've been there. I've been there. We've been in the womb. We developed. Yeah.
You sure?
Positive.
What if you know I'm not IVF?
IVF is still in a womb. Are you serious? In vitro fertilization, they fertilize the egg outside and they place it in a mother's womb and they develop. All human beings have developed in a mother's womb.
We could do a whole episode on that TikTok. Just break it down. There's so many.
Your signs are garbage, bro. I wish I had an effect on here that would make my voice sound like that guy.
Yeah. Affectionately known to the TikTok world as what, Blue Hat Man? Is that what they call him?
Yeah.
Or Blue Shirt Man or something?
Or backwards
And
sunglasses
the thing
guy.
that nobody
Backwards
is
sunglasses
talking about,
guy.
everyone is always talking about, like, oh, the sunglasses on the back of his shirt. Nobody's talking about that.
Why isn't anybody talking-
everybody is talking about that.
Yeah.
Actually.
Half of the comments are on this guy.
Yeah.
No,
But
but
anyway,
yeah,
that's not the main reason why this video.
his belligerence was very helpful, I think, in the getting TikTok's reach there. But the main character in this particular TikTok is a graduate student at the University of Oklahoma in the history of science and technology program, which is where I got my master's degree. So it was kind of a funny thing that happened. Blue Hat guy brings up Galileo, and I start talking about Galileo, and she stops because this is something she knows about. So she is directly choosing to engage us on the streets because she's an intellectual. And then that's the sort of thing that happens. Now, before we talk about this specific video, we should say the entire conversation is in unedited form on our YouTube page. There's 3 parts. How long is it?
Well, it's just one part on YouTube. It's 30 minutes.
Oh, it's one part on YouTube.
On Facebook, it's 3 parts.
Oh, okay. All right. So,
Just broke it up to 11-minute chunks there.
okay, I just saw the little thumbnails. But yeah, so you can watch the whole 30-minute conversation between me and that group of people. And yes, this is someone who I think prides herself on being an academic, an intellectual, and in the course of a 30-minute conversation with another person who is also an academic and an intellectual, she makes a number of just egregious,
Really dumb blunders.
just, I mean, some
Wow.
of it was, you're kind of like, I mean, people think it was kind of mean when I'm like, are you serious? I think in some other video, I'm like, are you like, didn't we get in trouble?
Are you sure you're a graduate student in the master's program? I
Are
think
you sure? Because I was thinking, I mean, I know there can be variations on like ethical beliefs here or whatever, but I don't really believe that there's a history of science grad student who thinks that like in vitro fertilization is like the Matrix.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, maybe like somebody who's like in the anime department or something. I don't know. They think that but she's in an STS program.
They
it's a
have an
Science,
anime
Technology, and
department now.
Society. yeah, she needs to be in it. But I mean, it's just like no offense to anime people, but it's like it's just like there's that. There's just a number, like there were a number of things that she said. I can't even remember them, but some of them were about like the history of science stuff, and it was just like,
Yeah.
But
So one of the points I think is important to make here is that college campuses are where you will find the most arrogant people, right? People who think they are the smartest people in the history of the world, the most ethical people in the history of the world.
and that rural people are all a bunch of dummies,
A bunch of rubes.
yeah.
And they really are simultaneously the most arrogant and probably the most stupid. You know, there's a quote. I think it's a Dennis Prager quote. Some conservative guy, and he says you have to go to college to be that stupid.
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it should encourage you all. College campuses are my favorite context for these sorts of conversations because it's really really easy to dissect, and also the evil is kind of more apparent. Like in the streets or kind of with your more average people, it'll be more difficult to point out the obvious the obvious evil, but the college students they'll just outright tell you how evil they are.
Well, I think it's such an echo chamber that that the university is all these people who think super highly of themselves, and they never actually. I mean, it's weird. It's exactly the opposite of what they think they are. It's like there really isn't a very active exchange of different ideas at the universities. There are the ideas that are true that we hold, that are smart, and then there's everybody else's ideas. And everybody else's ideas don't get to even come to the table. And so anytime that you bring a true idea that isn't among the ideas that are held by the university and the elites or whatever, like they have no idea how to even argue against them. And they just sort of degenerate into it's college kids who are going to just degenerate into holding a sign that just says yikes. It's like, I can't argue with you, but I'm just going to stand next to you with a sign that says yikes.
Yeah.
Hoping that me just expressing this person's crazy is an argument.
Well, I don't,
because they think everyone walking by agrees with them.
Yeah. I don't know how much we want to get into it, but there's a kind of a fun backstory with that whole video too, if you want to talk about that a
Which
little
one?
Bit. Her and the graduate student and what happened at her university because of that.
Oh, well, I mean, there's a longer story, but I will say that the most interesting thing is that graduate student, didn't make it through life without she didn't get to have that exchange with me and then never know that 9.4 million people saw it.
Yeah.
By the time I think that it had been up to 2 or 3 million, clearly it's going to be very hard to be in a video. There are more people have seen that than that live in Oklahoma, right? So it's kind of like the chances of someone being like, so I was on TikTok the other day and I saw this video. Well, apparently, when that happened, it was kind of like, oh, that video is being dishonest. It's not showing the truth of how that went, and they're embarrassing me and stuff. And of course, our response is, well, we'll just put the whole thing up.
Yeah.
Watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
The whole thing's embarrassing. But that video has led to, having conversations with people at the university. And they've been fruitful. So, that's another reason. Film yourself on the street talking to people. And when people get mad, it could lead to having conversations with old professors that you used to know. So, but we can talk about that. That's good. That's about all I'm gonna say about that.
So as we continue on here, I know you would think, well, they must have hit like the worst. It can't get worse, but it gets worse. The arguments get worse. So let's watch another video here.
Yeah, let's classify that one that we just watched as a good one. Here's a bad one.
Maybe you should change it to pro humans who've been chosen to live by their mother's rights.
I think you can make your own sign.
I know, I got signs. It's not too. But we're on TikTok, so you can argue. This is your opportunity to put out your position. I'll be quiet and I'll let you say, my position is abortion is a human right, and here's my argument. What's your argument? Where do humans come from? I'll back into it Socratically. What is a human? Any member of the human species, or what's a human?
Yep.
These are, if you're not the only one who's entertained by these, we are entertained by our TikToks.
My kids were like, Dad, get out of bed. Come eat breakfast. What's your father doing? He's watching himself on TikTok. It was just the most embarrassing thing to hear Ransom say that. So I was like laughing. I wasn't laughing at my jokes. It's so funny. In that particular video, whenever I'm like, go ahead, what's your argument? Or whatever I say, what's a human? And then it just pans through real quick and she just looks just completely unable to think or say anything. Now, to her credit, before we talk about this video, she eventually did talk.
Yes.
She eventually formulated some stuff, and we do have another video of her
Yeah.
making some kind of a.
Well, she was a little mad at us for posting this video. She was saying, "Oh, I had to come up with a more well thought out statement or something like that."
Yeah. I don't know
but-
if that was the case. I think the thing is they had.
The statement that she came up with was really bad.
Yeah. Eventually, she just throws out her whole argument and says that
Yeah.
it doesn't even matter what a human is. But
Yeah.
But I think what was going on there is this is a group of protesters. We're not there protesting. We're there abolitionizing or evangelizing or whatever you want to call it. But this is a group. And this time that we went out, this is the third time that we went out to the OU campus, or the second or third?
Second.
And when we first got out there and set up, this young lady, she was the first one to see us, and she went over and she stood behind a wall and she called her buddies. She was the one that would like ringleader people to get there. And then whenever other people showed up with signs, she grabbed one. She stood there. But we know from watching the TikTok comments from a week or two before that they were preparing. They were going to be prepared. They were literally asking us, so when are you guys going to come back out? Like it was kind of like
As like a bunch of different accounts too. It's like getting all over the place.
like wanting to know like when are you guys going to come back out because because we'll be prepared. There was a comment something about like you caught us off guard, but next time we'll be ready. And so next time they were ready, and that meant a couple of those signs, handwritten signs. And then, like a cardboard box that said F you and put a hex on fascist and
this witch hexes fascists.
yeah, this witch hex. So they were ready. They brought their A game.
Maybe I think that guy probably hexed himself. That's what happened.
Someone made a good comment. Like I don't mess around with all.
Like he's hexed to have to embarrass himself on TikTok every single time. He comes out.
His sign said that he puts a hex on fascist.
Yeah.
And the only one who is ever acting like a fascist out there was him.
Yeah.
So yeah, totally hexed himself. But because you should be less literal in your hex. You should have put it directly on me, regardless of what my views are.
Yeah.
Fascist. You just got you and your friends. But
be more specific next time with your hexes.
yeah. But and we don't just clown these. These are funny. We're not just clowning. We don't hate these people, but for the context, so you understand, we go out there, set up, stand and talk to people. We don't yell at people, jump in front of people's ways, call anyone names or anything like that. But people do show up specifically to call us names, yell at us, and get in the way of our cameras, play music while we're talking. These people are the aggressive, antagonistic people that they say that we are. So whenever we talk about them and we show that, don't get mad at us. But this particular video, I do think what's going on is their version of preparation was, we're going to get some signs together, we're going to show up in force, and we're not going to talk to them. Because we saw what happens when we talk to them.
Yeah.
They'll clip the videos and we'll look like idiots.
Yeah.
So I think they managed to stay on their game plan for about
Well, someone thought
hour or
that
so.
video that we just played, that I had edited it together or something like that, all the silences, but I did not edit any silences together.
No.
That was exactly how it flowed from beginning to end.
And I was a class had just started or something, so it was really dead out there at that moment. We had just kind of started, and I was honestly desperate. I wanted her to give an argument, like to engage. Like you're holding a sign in public. That generally means you're the kind of person that's willing to argue.
Yeah. Well, so
nothing.
Back to when she actually gave her answer. She says she's got a sign that says pro-human rights. She was asked, so what is a human? In this case, I think defining a human is besides the point.
Rip up your sign, lady.
She says, I'm not religious, so that definitely is going to be nebulous. I support abortion
Appreciate
rights
that.
because I find the consequences of making abortion illegal to be unacceptable. Simple as that. Don't hold a sign that says pro-human rights if you can't define what a human is.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
It's the destruction of reason. It's the destruction of logic. Actually, it takes my mind back to that clip from the documentary that Matt Walsh put out recently, and he's out at the Women's March trying to engage with feminists at the Women's March, and And then someone tells you, someone tells Matt Walsh, if you're not here for women, then get out of here. And he goes, what is that? Because no one will answer the question, what is a woman, right?
Yeah.
It's the destruction of language. Woman doesn't mean anything. No one can answer the question. And here it's the destruction of language. It's the destruction of logic. I'm pro human rights, but I won't tell you what a human is, or no one can know what a human is, or it doesn't matter what a human is. It is the destruction of reason.
Yeah.
These people are destroying reason completely.
And at the same time, they really do think they are the reasonable ones.
Yep. The educated, the smart.
Oh yeah, her friends were on the comments saying that that she's smarter than every single person in the comments. Okay.
Yeah. Like, well,
high
is
IQ or
true-
not, this is really dumb.
display your intelligence when you have the opportunity to do so. I mean, especially when someone's like begging. Like, I mean, and I'll just make this promise. If we actually get out there and we're talking to someone and they argue well and they put forward some kind of an argument for abortion that can't be answered or something, we'll post it. I promise. and everyone who knows is like,
they actually believe that those clips exist. We just cut them all out or something like that.
oh no, they don't just kind of like, do you want us to put up a 3.5 hour long video of like people just acting like total idiots? Or like, I mean, some of these folks are actually very mean. Like if you were really to boil it down, the guy, I'm not going to say his name on here. I do know his name, but the guy who comes out and dances and all that kind of stuff, like he does eventually start to argue, and whenever he loses those arguments, he gets mad and he like calls me names and stuff, and he's pretty kind of nasty about it.
Well, yeah, all of his arguments, it's never meant to like. He's never meant to get a response at all. He like says it and then he'll end it in an insult, just trying to make it sound like you're stupid or something. But it ends up making him look like a big jerk.
Yeah, but anyways, and people got to know that like we're not trying to be jerks or clown these people, but at the same time, it does not help them if they think that they're really smart and really reasonable and really compassionate and kind, and that the rest of humanity should be like them. They need to know they're none of those things. They're very closed-minded. They're very bigoted towards us, the preborn, obviously, and they're very unreasonable. They do not. I will run into people. We've all run into people. You will run into the occasional atheist or unbeliever or whatever who can talk without degenerating into just total insults. But that is extremely rare.
Yeah,
like extremely.
Yeah.
We haven't put one up on TikTok yet, really, because we haven't run into them.
we'll let you know when we find it.
But yeah, when we find them.
So we've played a lot of videos that have a lot in common. Let's talk about some other things, or we'll play a video and then talk about another thing that we emphasize very heavily when we are out on campuses and out at our walk.
Christ didn't sin by trusting in Christ and putting your faith in him and not your own works, not your own goodness. You say, hey, Lord, you know what? I confess I'm a sinner, and I want to turn from my sin. I want to follow you.
So I can say 3 Hail Marys and 2...
I don't believe Hail Marys will do anything except for
Christ,
confuse you.
Pop another motherfucker in the head.
No. You can't turn the grace of God in license to kill. I'm saying you conscientiously confess that you're a sinner and that you're going to stand before God and he's going to see you in all your sin. And you say, you know what? I'm not trying to get into your heaven because I've been too good, but I'm trusting in Christ who has been good, who has sacrificed himself for me, paid for my punishment. And I'm not trying to work my way into heaven. I'm not trying to say fancy prayers or go into booths and talk to weird dudes. I'm just trusting in Jesus alone to forgive me of my sin. And that way, when you stand before God after death, he doesn't see you and I'll say, I don't know you. I'll say, he doesn't see me and all the evil things that I've done. He sees Christ and all the good that he's done, and that Christ has died for me and paid my sin.
Now, I'm glad that you captured that and that was on there, because we had shown probably on our TikTok prior to you putting that video up, I think we had posted, 5 to 10 that had featured him before that video. And there's always that comment from like a good concerned person, kind of like, well, I mean, this guy doesn't seem to be talking at all, or like he's not listening to you at all. Like, is this casting pearls before swine type? People wondering.
Yeah.
I feel bad for this guy because he's not even listening. And then he actually did, as you see in that video, he did, calm down enough to at least hear the gospel. And beyond that video, what you don't see is that he did sit down on a bench and talk to one of us for a good long while as well after that. So sometimes people show up and they're belligerent, and you can watch a lot of the videos. He's an interesting cat, but he's lots of yelling and stuff like that.
Right.
But eventually, he sat down on a bench with Rachel and really dug into the gospel and just things that have happened in his life and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
We haven't seen him again.
Yeah.
But it'd be interesting.
Yeah, pray for his repentance and everything. But even in that just conversation, that one video of the gospel being presented was seen by 173,000 people. So,
so even if he doesn't,
even if he didn't receive the gospel, there are people that have heard that may have.
Yeah.
We don't know.
And this really is the end. Like all the other videos and the stuff that we've shown you guys so far, like you said, helping people understand they are not wise. They are not moral. Like, these are really evil people, and their sin makes them stupid, and they make really, really dumb arguments, and they need to feel the weight of that, and they need to come to grips and understand that toward the end of, here's the gospel. Here is the answer to your foolishness. Here's the answer to your wickedness. It's this, the gospel.
Yeah. It would be very wicked if we said, hey, you're wicked, your view's wicked, and then just cut them off at that. Like I say this oftentimes when we're talking to the pro-lifer who says leave Christ out of it or leave theology or religion out of it. It's kind of like, this is the most cruel, wicked thing you can do. Really, everyone, that's their problem. The problem is that they are walking in darkness because they hate the light. And so we need to show them their darkness and tell them to stop, running to the corners. And, so yeah, I mean, we do try to share the gospel with everyone we can when we're out there, but whenever we do get to and then put it up online, other people see it. And this isn't from our account, but I did see this a week or so ago. It was just an incredible comment from somebody who posted on Facebook, and I can't remember their name, but they had wrote this long comment, and it was about how they were lost, they were had been transitioning for like 5 years or something like this, and hated Christians and all this kind of stuff, but then saw a street preacher video on YouTube. So this is like somebody who's dead lost, and they watched a street preacher video on YouTube, and it brought them to repentance. And it's kind of like, and they posted it. I think it's on Wayne Groover's Facebook profile if you want to find that or whatever. But this is like, you look at that and you go like, okay, someone had to be willing to go out on the street and preach, and they had to be willing to film it and put it up. And God used this, and there's somebody who was going to be separated from him for all eternity who's no longer and going to be in paradise. So it's like, it was Wayne, I think, was posting it. Hey, all you people who think that street preachers are wasting their time. Yeah. This is how it actually happens. And so, yeah, we don't know the fruit of the 180,000 people who watched that particular gospel presentation, but, we do know that God uses that sort of thing. Somebody's on TikTok to watch, I don't know, whatever you watch on TikTok, right? People dancing around or lip singing or whatever.
Dogs trying to catch frisbees.
Yeah, I mean, TikTok. We should talk a little bit about how to be on TikTok and not lose your soul or something at some point. But yeah, someone's just on TikTok, and by the providence of God, that video falls on their For You page, and they're just like, what is this? And they may hear for the very first time in their life that you don't go to heaven because of your works. Because a lot of people think they have to be a certain amount of good to get into heaven. And that's, I think, what he was kind of thinking. What little things do I need to do to get to heaven?
Yeah. How many Hail Marys and,
Yeah. I did see there are some Catholics in the comments that are like, I'm with you. Why bash Catholics?
Not bashing Catholics, just bashing not the gospel.
Yeah. It's like, you see that there's a guy out here on the streets that thinks that he has to say Hail Marys to go to heaven. Of course that needs to be corrected.
Yeah. So one other point we want to make before wrapping up here is the fact that, yes, if you go to a college campus or to an art walk or different scenarios like those, you're going to find a lot of people who oppose you, but will be reasonable, but most people will fall into that camp. They're not going to be supportive of what we're doing, of what you're doing if you're out there. But there are some who are. And this is a very, very helpful thing because it has grown our ranks of people who want to go out there with us. We've connected with people who now want to start coming to our church. They want to get in a community of people who are bold Christians being salt and light. And so by you going and being the bold Christian who's being salt and light, you're drawing on say OU, 25, 30,000 people, something like that.
Yeah.
Now there may be 18 real bold Christians. Maybe 100. Let's be generous.
Yeah.
Maybe 100
No
real bold Christians at OU. You want to find them. You want to get connected. You want to start evangelizing, growing the ranks of people who are out doing it. Go be the light, and then those people will be drawn to you. The word will get around campus that there are some Christians on campus saying abortion's murder, preaching the gospel, and those who are bold, those who do desire to be salt and light, to expose evil deeds of darkness, they will be drawn to that, and you'll get connected with them, and your ranks will grow, and it'll be awesome.
How's it going, man? What do you think?
I see your shit on TikTok, man. I love it.
Oh yeah. What do you just run into it on a For You page, or is there like there's a young lady over here who's like, they put it on TikTok. It's like, of course we put it on TikTok.
I appreciate what you do, sir.
Hey, we're trying to push back on some of the insanity.
Hey.
I'm apparently getting hexed though.
God bless you.
More than
I see why you're on TikTok. Way to go.
because I know
Thanks.
that the
I'm getting a lot of fist bumps today. Cool. So you oppose abortion?
No, I do.
Awesome. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
It's good. It's good to find people that don't just claim human rights but actually hold them. Watch out. You might be getting hexed. Hey, thanks. Keep speaking up, man.
if your wife
right?
Unfortunately, yes.
Okay, I like it.
Okay.
Really appreciate what you guys are doing.
Hey, thanks, man.
And it's also, even if, there was a young lady that came out and she was really happy to see us and she was thankful. I don't know if we're going to put up the video of her or not, but she was a Christian. She's gone off to college and she doesn't know any other Christians.
Mm-hmm.
And she believes everybody around her, friends, I guess roommates and all that kind of stuff, none of them believe what she believes. And she was just really happy that somebody on campus believes what she's believed. And she was encouraged by that, and I believe again. I think Rachel went out to lunch with the following day and everything like that. But it may not be that you're like bringing someone from rebellion to lordship of Christ or something like that, but you could be bringing Christians who are sort of like comfortable in their silence, kind of encouraging them to be much more willing to speak out. I know there's a couple of guys that go to the same church that I go to have come up to me and said, hey, I watched your videos and kind of makes me, want to share the gospel more. And I'm like, good, that's great. And then 2 or 3 weeks later, it's like, hey, I just wanted you to know I shared the gospel with some people at work. They probably didn't even know I was a Christian. And I'm like, that's great. So that sort of thing, it's like, it's good to have millions of views and, whatever, you get that dopamine rush of being liked on social media or whatever. But the real payday is hearing that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, one of the main reasons we wanted to do this episode was just because we don't want to own the TikTok. We don't want to corner that market. That we would love everybody to be on TikTok if you can. That being said, do want to talk a little bit about the fact that TikTok is a vile place. And, I had a TikTok account once before, but then it was just kind of like, I don't need this garbage on my phone. There are lots of things on TikTok that are not great. And so I'm just going to make just a real quick recommendation here. We want you on TikTok, liking and sharing our videos, making your own videos and all of that. But when you get on there, when you see filth, quickly move away from it. If you do not look at wicked stuff on TikTok, the algorithm, the AI, the bots, whoever, the communist, they will actually not put it in your feed.
Yeah.
And
Well, if you hold down and press not interested as well.
oh yeah,
that-
you
that's
can literally
very
tell it.
effective. Mhm.
Yeah.
And so I've seen lots of comments about the wrong side of TikTok. Have you seen those comments? Like, oh, somehow I ended up on the wrong side of TikTok.
That's somebody accidentally stumbling onto the right side of TikTok.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's somebody who's on TikTok just to see women dance around half naked or whatever, getting the gospel on their TikTok.
Yeah.
But that's awesome that the world knows that there is a community of Christians on TikTok.
Yeah.
And I believe we're probably a mustard seed on there, but we can grow and have a great effect. So we do want you on TikTok to help us, hook up with us and like and share our videos, keep them going and everything like that. Engage people. You got to only get a certain amount of characters when you're talking to people on TikTok, but there are lots of good debates to be had in the comment sections on TikTok as well. But bring that light into a dark place in the knowledge that, it's a dark place. And so, watch over your soul as you enter it. But I'm just kind of drolling on and on and on. But also want to warn against this attitude of, I'm not going to go on TikTok because it's worldly. It's a worldly place. I don't want to go on there. That's the opposite of what the Bible would command you to do.
It's part of the Areopagus.
Yeah. The Areopagus in Acts 17, it's like where people go and talk about stuff for no other reason than to talk about stuff. Well, like today in our culture, you literally can do that with people all over the planet. Why would you not take that opportunity to proclaim the truth of God, the justice of God, and the gospel of God?
Yeah, well, it's like you said a second ago. When we had first started on that one video, we had more views than the people who were even in the people who live in Oklahoma, more than the population of Oklahoma. And I really don't know of any other way where we could get that kind of influence. It's bigger than a lot of even like pretty prominent Christian YouTube channels. So it is one of those things where if you see something like that kind of opportunity, figure out how you can start influencing it for the better.
Yeah. And and we're not alone. There are, I think, End Abortion Now is a TikTok. Laura Clausen has a TikTok. There are other abolitionists who are on there, but just getting the ideas on there. There are going to be people who get our ideas and some of our positions and arguments. They're emboldened by them and do their own thing without really remembering it was Free the States or Russell or anything like that. The reason we use the word meme in our culture is because memes are like ideas that go out and spread on their own. They're the mimetic. And having a number of TikToks up that basically say, don't punish children for the crimes of their fathers is going to make that something that more and more people just say. And as more and more people just say that, the rape exception is going to be destroyed in our culture. So this is a tool at your disposal. To not use it is unwise.
So TikTok is a place where we have had a lot of success recently getting the message out to a lot of people. But the most important thing for watchers, listeners of this episode is that there's a huge need for Christians who are going to go out into the culture and who are going to shoot straight, who are not going to use kind of poll-tested political talking points, but who will proclaim the truth, and let it land as heavily as it needs to on either the foolishness or the sin of those in our culture who are dead in their sin. That's a need now that has always been the great need of humanity. And TikTok provides an opportunity to do that for both those who you're immediately speaking to and the entire world. So it's a great opportunity. So please go on TikTok and like Free the States and start following our TikToks on there. If you like the videos that you saw in this episode, there are many, many, many more just as either as educational or as entertaining, or both those things at once.
And there's nothing wrong with, being entertaining. I think that we are using the entertain. We're not on there to be entertaining.
Yeah.
This is very much in line with our overall mission to seed the culture with abolitionism.
Yeah.
And bring the gospel of the kingdom into conflict with abortion.
And we've known from the beginning, there's certain things that play well that are going to do a lot more views. They're going to go a lot more viral. But everything that we've posted that's educational in there, because of the things that do better, that are more watched, get a lot more views.
Yeah.
So I think I put up a video just talking about why the dismemberment, or it was the Born
Responding
Alive
to
Infant Protection
SFLA.
Act,
Yeah.
why that one was a terrible bill and we shouldn't support it. And that ended up getting like 45,000 views, which is a lot of people seeing that kind of viewpoint for the very first time. So
yeah, and we'll probably increase that kind of video that's sort of like, you know, dealing with something that somebody else said as it gets colder and snowier and we can't go out as often. But we do have lots of TikTok videos.
51,000. Oops.
To count. Oh, 51. Sorry, he was off 5,000, 6,000 views.
Every time we
10,000.
look, it goes up by 8,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those weird. Your brain gets addicted to like just seeing how it jumps.
Yeah.
But you know, we want TikTok to be a place where the gospel of the King is going forward. So join us there on that.
And go out there and do it yourself as well. We want to be out there, not just so that people are watching us be out there, but so that people will also join us out there.
Yeah.
as
There's
they
always
see
that
us do it.
comment like, will you guys, like someone's like, man, I love this, but I live in such and such place. I wish you would, and I'm always kind of like, you're praying for someone to come? That's probably you.
Yeah.
Just go out and do it yourself.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, get a sign, go out there. You know, I've told people that I'll have to psych myself to go out there. You know, it's like, I'm like not naturally going to wake up and go, you know, argue with people in the streets. It's only out of obedience. That selfishly, that's not something I would just do.
Yeah. But all those people commenting, they want to meet you and they want you to come to their city. I actually would think it would be pretty cool to do like a public lecture series or something like that.
Yeah,
where people can come see T. Russell Hunter.
A TikTok
of
tour.
Free the States, yeah. The TikTok lecture tour.
Yeah, I know. It's like all these people like it, you know, like it is becoming a place where pro-lifers are starting to go, wait, so you're not a pro-lifer.
Mm-hmm.
And we get into good conversations, which is
usually. Well, our bio, people look at our bio. Our bio says abolitionist, not pro-life. And our bio has gotten millions of views. Like our profile has gotten millions of views. So people see that and they're like,
oh, yeah. I have an old friend from college. She saw the TikToks and liked the TikToks. Was like, hey, listen, I love the way you're talking to these people about abortion, but the occasional sort of like anti-pro-life thing, like what's up with that? And I'm like, well, here's what's up with that. This, these reasons, this lecture, this blog. And she's like, oh, yeah, of course, I understand. No, I get it. So it's, you know, TikTok's our gateway drug. So you like our minute and a half long pithy TikToks, man, you should check out the hour and a half long lectures. And all of a sudden people go from liking me to disliking me, just like that. But we're going to keep on doing both things and do them to the best of our ability and the glory of God.
Yeah. This has been another episode of the Liberator podcast, where we're committed to being as harsh as truth and as uncompromising as justice. We'll see you next week.